Hello and welcome. My special guest this week in the show, the illustrious, the brilliant and the wonderful Cate Bakos. Cate will be with me in just a moment. These are the stories we're going to have a look at today, Cate and I. We're going to talk about the Tinder of real estate. I don't know anything about Tinder. I'm hoping Cate does. Would you like a house with that? A house that Ash Barty might just buy. And this really is a money pit. And trust me, I'm a real estate agent. Back in just a moment.
Did you know you can save up to 70% on your staff costs by outsourcing the low-value, repeatable tasks so your team can focus on growing your business? Bepo is an outsourcing provider focused on the real estate industry. With an English-speaking, tertiary qualified and fully trained team in the Philippines, Bepo will give your business the boost it needs to start growing and returning value to you. For more information, visit bepo.com.au.
And joining me, as I said, a wonderful guest, Cate Bakos. Hello, Cate.
Hello, Kevin. It's such a pleasure to be on the show.
It's always good talking to you too. Thank you. And we're going to see a fair bit of you over the summer series too. We're going to dig deep. We're going to try and get behind the auctioneer, but more about that coming up later. So we're going to start putting those together in the next few weeks. Hey, Cate, let's get down to business. Our first story, in fact, comes from Yahoo Finance, and it's about the Tinder of real estate. What do you know about Tinder, Cate?
Oh, well, hopefully not more than I should. I'm a married woman.
I've never been on it, and that's the truth. I've never seen it, but I understand you do this swiping thing if there's someone you don't like. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And I've seen some really good matchmake successes with Tinder. Yeah, I'm attending a wedding in a couple of months that's a Tinder match.
Oh, is that right? Wow, there's a scoop.
Yeah.
Well, okay, how does this relate to property? Well, there's been a new app that's been launched, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but it's a way of eliminating properties with the Tinder swipe. What do you know about it, Cate? Anything?
Yeah, I do know a little bit about it, but I don't believe in its success like I would a Tinder program for human beings. Because what I do know about buyer behaviour is they can have the most robust checklist of criteria, and they don't necessarily follow it. So they can be very quickly romanced with something that has nothing in common with their original search parameters. I know how buyers work.
All I can say is I can understand why you'd swipe and make decisions that way on a date, but not on a house. Yeah. I mean, a property is something that's very, very expensive. You're going to spend a lot of money on it, let's be honest.
I'd argue a marriage is as well, Kevin.
Oh, I didn't say marriage. Remember, I said a date. And a date is the first step.
Yes.
That's really what Tinder's about.
Yeah. Now, I don't think that the automated algorithm with an approach like that means that your shortlist starts to get really refined on your preferences. But what it's not picking out are the things that are outside of the square, the random picks that you might not have suggested are, within what you're searching for. And that often, in a lot of cases when we're searching for property with clients, it's the thing that I show them that's outside of the square that can be the best surprise of all. And a program like this will not identify the outliers.
Yeah, and that's what buyers agents are good at doing too, is tempting you with something that you might not have thought about. I mean, there's a common saying in real estate that buyers are liars, and that has all come about. It's a terrible term, but it really comes about because quite often buyers will tell you what they want to buy, then they'll buy something totally opposite. And that's only because they've seen something they like even more that they probably haven't even imagined when they went on that journey. And you must see that all the time, Cate.
All the time, yeah. Buyers aren't liars, but they often don't know what they really want.
That's exactly
right.
And
it can take, a pragmatic approach and thinking outside of the square to deliver something that's a better fit.
Indeed. Okay, we'll take you to our second story in just a moment. Before we do, I just want to remind you that Real Estate Talk is out tomorrow. I've got some great topics coming up too. Could pets and smoking get banned in units? Now, this is a Queensland-only story, I have to say, but once these things start to happen in one state, they generally roll over into others. So it's something you might want to watch. There's some new legislation that's been tabled into Queensland about pets and smoking in unit apartments. Hey, the state-by-state property report card, how to increase your rental yield. We're going to have a look at the country's hottest markets right now and the changing demands of home buyers. This is a really interesting story. We talked to a company that's just won the 8th consecutive award as Builder of the Year, and they've got some great insights as to how we're changing our desires and what we want in a home. So all that coming up tomorrow in Real Estate Talk. Don't miss it. Okay, to our next story. This one comes from realestate.com.au, and well, would you like a house with that? Bruce Burns from the Mornington Peninsula, you might have even seen this property, Cate, is sure to make any avid golfer very, very envious. Imagine having a home with your own golf course in the backyard. How about this, Cate?
Yeah, we're not talking putt-putt mini golf, are we?
No, we're not.
Amazing.
No.
Yeah.
Pretty serious golf. Are you a golfer, by the way?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I actually grew up down on the peninsula, and I spent a lot of happy memories at the back beach down in Rye, Blairgowrie, Sorrento. So I know the area well, and it's not a surprise to see this. It's gone off like nothing else in terms of popularity and price tag. Back in the day, you could pick up land at Rye Back Beach for a tiny amount of money, and now it's quite a premium, prestigious area.
There's a fair bit of land associated with this property too. Is there for it to have its own golf course, Cate?
Yeah, that's right. They've got a perfect setup, and they appear to be having a lot of fun with competitions and special dress-up days. It sounds like they're having a ball.
Indeed it is. We'll check on the link. It's on the story. You can go and have a look at it for yourself. Who knows, you might end up buying the golf course and then you get the house thrown in. Take you to our next story. This one comes from News Limited. Aren't we so proud of Ash Barty? Like, I've never been more delighted to see someone win a tournament than the one that she won, and the prize pool that she's reported to have picked up around about $6 million. Not surprising she's looking at buying a property, Cate.
Yeah, not surprising at all. For a 23-year-old, she's absolutely amazing, and good luck to her. But I look at that, $6.4 million win overseas. I do wonder what sort of tax bill she had, if any. Because, one prize could translate to an amazing house purchase back here. Yeah,
and the other thing too, when we talk about these, sportsmen and women who win these great prizes, they've got a tremendous entourage behind them too. They pay for a lot of trainers, all their travel, their accommodation. Makes you feel sorry for those who don't really crack it into the big time, yet they probably have to meet the same kind of level of costs as someone like Ash Barty would have to meet, Cate.
Yeah, it's a really fair way of looking at it. I think a lot of us just look at the big number at the end of the judge and look at the prizes that they're winning, but it's absolutely true. It's an absolute commitment for someone like this to be able to raise the funds and take her career where she's taken it. So I think it's a fantastic story. Yeah, great to see, and she's really inspirational, someone for us all to be very, very proud of. Hey, we're going to come back with a great story out of the States. And we're going to take you inside this home. You might remember the movie called Money Pit. We'll tell you more about that. It was a movie, well, you wouldn't remember it, Cate. You wouldn't have been born back in 1986. But that's when I do remember it. That's when the movie came out. Hey? I was in grade 6. I remember this movie.
Born in, okay. No, that does. I was going to say born
74 baby.
Oh, you're a 74 baby. Okay. It's 74 with the big floods. You wouldn't remember that. Yeah. Big floods in Queensland.
No.
Yeah. I was stuck at an airport actually in 1974. So I was working in radio in those days. I think on my way to a conference, and we were stuck at the Brisbane airport for about 3 days. We had to camp. We couldn't even get out of the airport to get home. So in those days I lived in Toowoomba. So there you go. Bit of history for you. You were born in 74. I was caught in the floods. Hey, we're going to come back in just a moment and we'll ramble on more. We'll take you to the States and have a look at this house, the Money Pit, back in just a minute.
Your business card is a vital selling tool and a constant visual reminder of who you are, what you do, and more importantly, how you can be contacted. Introducing our new Velvet business cards, featuring a luxurious premium laminate that has a velvet texture and is soft to the touch. Printed on a resilient 450 GSM card, These cards can be printed with a range of spot gloss and foiling options to give your office that prestigious look.
Welcome back. Okay, remember the movie? The Money Pit was made in 1986. Tom Hanks started that one. I think they purchased this property, and from the moment they moved in, everything started to fall down. An amazing sequel to that movie, isn't it, Cate, if you read the story?
Yeah, it is. It's really troubling, actually, but there are a few critical buyer mistakes here, I think.
Yeah, okay, and I was hoping you'd pick up on this, and you did. Let's quickly run through them. What did you pick out of it?
Well, they bought the property for $2.1 million back in 2002, and they did have their fair share of things going wrong. And I think for anyone who spends 2.1 on a property, they expect it to be in good condition, most likely. So they've gone ahead then and spent $5.9 million renovating it. Now, that on any level is an incredible overcapitalisation. And what we can't overlook is what transpired between that and the sale that we're now looking at. It was a period of really difficult, it was a difficult financial economy for the states during the GFC, and the recovery was long and slow and painful. So to have a property at the top end of any budget and to overcapitalise like that, you can't expect it to go well.
Yeah, and of course the period of time as well that it took to do the renovation, you moved from one market to another, maybe even to another one, which is probably what's happened as well.
Yeah, potentially. And there's a little nasty in there, the land tax associated with this, or the taxes that they pay on an annualised basis, are nearly $90,000 a year. And when we look at how buyers feel about high outgoings, it's no surprise that it's been very difficult for them to find a buyer as well.
Indeed. So they have actually sold the property, sold at a massive loss. One of the agents, the brokers that they spoke to for the article, made the point too that maybe the movie placed a bit of a stigma on the property, and believe it or not, they probably did think that there was something wrong. It makes me wonder why, when those people bought it, that they didn't think that that was the case. But you do. That's the other thing too, isn't it, Cate? You sometimes when you're selling a property, if it's too unique, you can limit your market.
Without a doubt. And also you touched on it before, the notoriety of something might seem like a good idea at the time, but not all publicity is good publicity. If the property is known for being a money pit, then that can be a subconscious thought in a lot of buyers' minds.
Indeed it can. Okay, to our final story for today. This one comes from The Balance. Trust me, I'm a real estate agent. The reputation for agents and brokers is not good, but is it really warranted? And I've picked this story out because the story is all about how agents tell lies. I don't want to get into that because that's a gross generalisation. But the interesting part about this too is that there was another release out this week, and I couldn't quite find the facts before we went to air, but about the rating of real estate agents, how we're just above politicians, both state and federal, in terms of trustworthiness.
Yeah, this is a topic I feel very passionately about, and I have to. And I make note that you've mentioned agents and brokers, and broker is a very US and UK centric term.
That's right.
Here in Australia, we refer to brokers as buyers agents or buyers advocates. But the trust is associated with our profession is low, and it's a real shame because it's a bit of an 80-20 rule, and the reality is it's probably a 95-5 rule, because a lot of agents who are in the business for a long time do it very well. And I think the main point here to focus on is longevity. Anybody can try and rip someone off or tell a lie to get a quick sale, but your career is not sustainable if that's what you become known for. And we all know that for every good deed that you do versus a bad deed, you'll have a lot more people talking about your bad deed than your good deed. So bad news travels fast. And we do need to remember that agents who have been doing this for a long time and doing it well have a loyal following and have clients that come back to them time and time again. So it's an interesting one. The perception's terrible, but I think in this industry, it's a very unfair one. Yeah,
I agree with you. The other point that I wanted to make too was that I think as an industry, sometimes we attract people who want to get in for the quick buck. They see it as an opportunity to earn good money, and it is if you work hard. So it probably attracts people who do look for shortcuts, who do look at not necessarily building relationships. But the great agents I've met, like you, Cate, understand that it's about building relationships, and doing that takes time. So this is not something you can get into and start making big bucks straight away. Some people do, but most people don't.
Yeah, it's a great point. And we often underestimate the amount of time that an agent will spend in their role. So for most people, a working week is 40 or 50 hours. A real estate agent who's really committed and on all the time can find that they can easily clock up over 70 hours. And that's tough for a lot of people, but it's not just the time, it's the out of hours and the inconvenience to what most people would enjoy, evenings or weekends, being with their loved ones or doing something fun. It's a real commitment and it's a lifestyle. So for those who come into it thinking they'll earn a lot of money and then find that they can't hack the hours and the commitment, that might be when they take shortcuts. But my general observation is that they don't last very long. Now, there was something about this article that I did like and I gravitated to, and that is the portals and the information that agents can get access to create an image for themselves. And I think consumers need to be mindful of this. We have portals out there that rate agents and give reviews, and I'm not suggesting that they're not helpful, but not every good agent is on these portals. Sure. And you do get a few agents that will nag you silly to give them a review, and it is a real driving force for them, but it's not necessarily the only measure of an agent's ability to serve their vendor well or a successful agent.
Yeah, because if you do scroll down and have a look at the article, and I strongly suggest you do, there are some good ways in there for you to check the agent. One of them is, any agent can tell you how good they are, but get onto their website and just really check how many listings they've got and how many listings they've sold. That's the true indication, not necessarily something like Rate My Agent or those other comparison sites that you mentioned, Cate. And there are more and more of them happening. I understand too that realestate.com.au are about to launch one, or they have already done that. So, here we go with another round of rating sites. So, what can I say?
That's how I feel too.
Cate, it's been fantastic, and I'm so looking forward to having you as a special guest in our summer series for Auction Update, which will kick off sometime around about midway through next month as we go through Christmas and New Year. It's going to be wonderful. So, Cate, thank you so much, my dear. All right, Cate Bakos from Cate Bakos. She's a very talented buyer's agent, and she's a regular guest with us on the show. Thank you, Cate. We'll talk to you again really soon.
See you next time.
Okay, I'm Kevin Turner, and a reminder once again, Real Estate Talk is out tomorrow, and a little bit later today you can catch up on the auction updates, what's happening with auctions coming up in the next week with Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic. I'm Kevin Turner. I look forward to catching up with you again real soon.